that, not only that, we give thanks in advance to the Safa app for collaborating by sponsoring the over $500 competition prize for via the Netcake annual TV subscription. But we also want to thank in advance Hyperama, Shana Ghani and her husband Javed, who so generously sponsored a 50 dirham voucher to every participant who's on the show today. So, yep, if you're not in the UAE, you definitely can use that voucher still by giving it to somebody in the UAE or keeping it for when you do come, because we have Dubai Expo 2020-2021 on, and that's running right up to March. And I believe Emirates and a lot of the other airlines and travel agents in South Africa have got some amazing deals. I just came across one the other day. It was like 10,000 rands. It included your return flights, 4 days in a hotel, including the visa. And I believe if it was Emirates, you also got a free entrance into the expo. So, yep, that was quite a deal for a lot of people. May want to take advantage of that. I wish Emirates had sponsored with us, but they haven't. So I'm just sharing good knowledge. And I'm Atia Dudat of Coach Middle East. I'm a clinical counselor and educationist, NLP wellness coach and author. And I love inspirational people, inspirational things. And I have my own slogan called Ati Tribe, where I form collaborations and communications with like-minded tribes of people who aim to inspire and achieve their impossible. So we're so honored to have Super Dad Khalid Vauda with us today in our monthly Coach Middle East Wellness webinar collaboration with the Women's Chamber of Entrepreneurs, especially for this occasion of the Heritage Day. We want to celebrate amazing, awesome heroes, everyday heroes. And for those of you who don't know what WICO is about, I'm going to give you a little bit of detail for Joshna Nagia to introduce the rest of the concept of WICO before I introduce Khalid, as he's having his lovely cup of something. And well, you guys are all invited to take out your cuppa, by the way. You're most welcome to join us with that cup of tea or coffee or whatever it is that you enjoy having while being in a single guy's kitchen, as he's going to whip us up some amazing meal. I don't know if I've never had this experience. It's a first timer for me. So it's something new. And I'm sure it may be for many of you as well. So WICO, Joshna Nagia is the founder of the Women's Chamber of Entrepreneurs, an amazing concept started up about 2.5 years ago. Joshna is in the STEM and tech industry. She's an amazing powerhouse of a woman, heart full of gold in terms of wanting other female entrepreneurs to reach for their dreams, to be supported, and to form a coherent, cohesive unit that is progressive. Even though she started the name Women's Chamber of Entrepreneurs, it's open to both genders. And having Khalid here on the show today is a testimony to that it is for everybody. And we're slowly getting more males into the Chamber of Entrepreneurs. It's an amazing, as I said, concept. And over to you, Joshna, to share with us a little bit more about why you started WICO.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Atia, for that great. You always introduce me with. It's just so good the way you introduce me. But thank you so much for that. I think before we start, I want you to get a picture of everyone. So if everyone can just turn their cameras on, that will be fantastic, please.
So smiles. So it's a cheesy moment.
Yes, it is a cheesy moment. Come on, ladies, everyone. Hi, Tilly.
Welcome, Till. So lovely to see you here with us. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Just so excited to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. Yes.
Hi, Kefilo.
Hi, Joshna.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Khalid, I see we do have Zahida Patel as well, who's logged on. Come on, people, put your cameras on. Let's take a picture.
Oh. Oh. Where do we put cameras on?
At the bottom of your screen, if you're on a phone, you'll see like a camera button. Just switch on.
Let's check more.
Saida says, sorry, she doesn't take photos. Okay, you can smile behind the camera. We'll feel your energy, Saida.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to take one quickly, whoever's on. So give me a second. We've got very shy people on today. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. So yes, Joshna, tell us a little bit more about WCOE.
So, yeah, so the Women's Chamber started in 2019. We started with about 3 people, 3 ladies on our chat group, and Riyadh, our 1 male. And then we grew phenomenally. In a week, we had about 125 ladies join us. And up till now, I think we've got about 250 ladies on different groups that we service. And obviously through this, I've met some phenomenal people along the way. And so the Women's Chamber of Entrepreneurs is basically, we are a catalyst to unleash potential within female entrepreneurs by providing resources to them. So I'm very much into empowerment, upliftment, inspiration, motivation, anything that we can possibly do to help females grow in their spaces. I'm very passionate about it. And, through this journey, I've met some incredible people. And the reason why we're actually having this today is that last year I met a phenomenal powerhouse. Her name is Ms. Cindy Mzamo. She's actually the global president of the Circle of Global Business Women. And we were having a discussion on women empowerment. We're very much on the same journey. And the one thing that's really stuck with me was that, in my mind, I always had this thought that we need to exclude males in our journey. And she said, absolutely not. If anything, we need to include them because that only makes the journey more stronger and more powerful. And I couldn't understand the concept. And she said, we have male figures who are sitting at very good positions, strategic positions, to actually help us on our path of empowerment. And that actually stuck with me because it's not about working separately, but it's about working together. We talk about diversity, we talk about transparency, and we talk about genders, not being enough in the workspace or in the different industries that we're in. And what a better way to actually stop the tug of war and literally let go of the reins and include everyone. And the Women's Chamber of Entrepreneurs, I love looking beyond race, beyond culture, beyond everything. At the end of the day, I see a woman who needs to be empowered. I see a person that needs to be empowered. And for me, that is the most important thing. So for me, the most important lesson was that how do we bring males into our organization? And as you know, we've had Riyadh, who's helped me start the entire organization. He literally pushed me into starting this. And we didn't think it would explode into what it is today. And then we have our marketing person who's just come on board recently. And myself and Khalid were having a conversation some time ago, and we just got chatting about what he does. And I thought, wow, just for a different flavor for Heritage Day, for a little bit of fun, a little bit of casualness, a little bit of uniqueness. Let's bring him on. He's got some phenomenal recipes. He started a phenomenal network of super dads, and I think I just want to encourage and support that. And for us, I think as females, we need to understand that there's always 2 sides. It's not only us, it's the other side as well. And I think empathy comes into this entire thing. And so I got really excited about it, and I'm really, really grateful, Khalid, for you for joining us today with everyone that's here. And I'm really looking forward to this. After this, I'm going to turn my camera off and I'm going to jump into my kitchen so we can start cooking. I've got all my ingredients. So I'm quite excited about that. And I think before I go, Atya, I just wanted to say thank you to my team. I've got such a phenomenal team who's always, by my side to help me make this happen. So I'm so grateful to Team WCOE. I'm so grateful to Khalid for joining us and to all the sponsors. I mean, we just mentioned this to you, and suddenly, we've had an explosion of sponsors that just came through for us. So I just want to personally thank Garimas for the contribution of 20 hampers. They started off with 1, then it went to 10, and now it's 20 hampers. So 20 participants are going to get hampers from Garimas, and then we've got the Sapphire app, who's going to give us a NatCake subscription for $500, like you mentioned. And then the Hyperama in Dubai, who's going to give us the 50 dirhams to spend in Dubai. So yes, if you are wondering about that, you can most definitely transfer that and make someone's day in Dubai from South Africa. And I think that will be phenomenal. Thank you so much, Atya, for hosting us today and for being part of this initiative. And I hope that it grows from here, that we can get more dads, more males into this, so that we can strategically align ourselves and partner with them and create alliances to actually create a powerful platform that is inclusive of everyone. So I'm going to hand over to you, Atya, and thank you very much. Enjoy the cooking show, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yes, before I go, please take photos of your dish at the end and post it on our Instagram page. I'll post all the details on our chat, and we'll tag you, and we'll have one lucky winner that's going to win an awesome prize. So please do that. Even if it's on WhatsApp, just send your pictures to me. That would be fantastic. Thank you.
I believe there's a recipe book as well. So we've got the recipe book, we've got the NetCake subscription, we've got the 50 dirham Hyperama vouchers, and we've got the Gurima other sponsors, right? For 20 people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow. This is really, really amazing. That's amazing. So please stay on until the end. Please interact. One of the conditions is you must interact in the chat or ask to unmute and speak. Give in your comments, crack your jokes. It's a Heritage Day after all, and we know how humorous South Africans can be despite all the odds. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, Joshna, for laying out the vision and the work that WCOE is doing and what it's about. And I cannot agree more that we are stronger with each other. And as you were talking, I couldn't help but think about a poem by the author Tilly Govender in her upcoming book called Soul Nourisher. She has a poem dedicated to the relationship between men and women called No Yin, No Yang. And if we have time at the end, we may ask her to read it out for us. But Khalid, thank you so much for agreeing to be part of this. I know it can't be easy in vulnerability to let a whole lot of public into your kitchen, which I might add is really spick and span, sparkly white, subhanallah. I don't know if you had some wonderful cleaners out there, or whether it was your amazing daughters who helped you. But for those of you who don't know Khalid Vauda is a 40-something, not giving his true age, full-time single dad to 3 amazing young ladies, all in their teens, being a certified independent life coach and personal development specialist, qualified with New Insights Africa. He has spent 4 years in the UK and has supported many clients, both in the UK and in South Africa, in achieving positive change that lasts within themselves. And I know that's quite a mouthful, but it's definitely needed. Positive change that can actually last, that you consistently transform in one's relationships and one's attitudes and decision-making capabilities. Khalid has also been featured on community radio and TV, and now, of course, on webinars internationally. He also runs his own tour operating company for visitors to South Africa. That's wonderful. Inspired by his late dad, gaining invaluable lessons from his own eventful journey, and witnessing the awesome efforts of other dedicated dads, Khalid wants to help take all fathers to the next level, all dads to the next level in their journey of fatherhood, whether they're doing it solo as a single dad, or whether they're in it with a female partner, hands in together. His motto is "There's a super dad in you." He's also the founder of Top Branch Consulting Social Media Management Services, and I'm really impressed about this. He holds a weekly football magazine program online called Ready Steady Football, where they basically diss and celebrate all the amazing happenings in the football scene over the week, which is quite interesting, actually, and a lovely bonding experience, I'm sure, for a lot of people. And lastly, I'm sure not leastly, he is an experimental cook. So, Khalid, you really are testimony to the fact that we need a togetherness, especially in the global collective controversy of the whole LGBTQ, rainbow mottos and slogans that's going around, where people are either for LGBTQ affairs or not. I think we still are very much of a very wholesome attitude in terms of genders need each other, and we cannot, definitely, as Tilly says, if there's no yin, if there's no yang. So welcome, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We are so excited to be in your kitchen.
Walaikum salam. Wow, that's a long introduction. Thank you very much for that. It's a pleasure being here. It's an honor being here. And yes, it's the first time there's been so many people in this little kitchen. So welcome everybody. I hope we're going to have a fun experience this morning. And yeah, please feel free to jump in with questions while we're cooking. If something's not working, let's talk. But let's get through the dish together. I have selected something which is not too complicated, because as a single dad, I need to find stuff to cook that, gives me 30, 45 minutes max. So you won't find me doing complex stuff like biryanis and these types of things, although that can be done. I'm on a tight schedule. All of those things that Atia mentioned that I've got to go through in a day or in a week cuts my time a little short. So for me, the oven works. I grill a lot. The one thing I think we all bound on, and we all have a common ground on, is that flavor cannot be compromised. And I think that's my motto when it comes to food. So experimental, Atia, in terms of the different recipes that I would try, but flavor has to be there, and I've discovered through living abroad and through traveling overseas as well, flavor is all over the place. And when you tap into flavors around the world, you get a nice feel of what people have to offer. And I'm somebody who likes to try out traditional meals or dishes from different lands. So, whether it's, I love the Mediterranean flavors. It's something that I use often. Obviously, we've all grown up on Indian food. That's superb and fantastic. Italian food, Thai food. It just depends. Middle Eastern food, it's just wherever there's flavor, there's something to try out. And as long as it fits into my tight time schedule, willing to give it a shot. So that's where the experimental comes in. So I look forward to cooking this morning. I hope you guys all have your ingredients ready. That's been sent out to you during the week. And I've cheated a little because I've prepped ahead with one or two things, but not too much. We'll get through everything together.
Well, if you don't have your ingredients here, guys, take pictures. This is being recorded as well. We're going to share the recording with you so you can enjoy, watch, tag along, sing along, speak along. And Khalid, yalla, you can begin. As we say in the Middle East, yalla, yalla, get cooking.
Yalla, 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 yalla. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm just going to pop on, get the pan warmed up a little so we can...
By the way, we have 4 guys on the call now, so you're not alone with all ladies. So you can maybe
awesome.
Want to relax a little bit because the guys are here. Welcome
awesome,
to Yusuf.
Guys.
Welcome, Yusuf. Would you like to unmute and give him some support here? I don't know how flexy you are in the kitchen.
Don't worry, I love cooking, Khalid. Inshallah, I'm sure you'll do great. And
excellent.
Okay, so this could be a contentious subject, but they say the world's greatest chef are men. So maybe on the next show we'll get a female and see the difference. So yeah, all of the best, inshallah.
We can have a cook-off. Thanks,
Mohammed.
Yusuf. Thanks. Welcome.
Khalid, you just carry on cooking.
Okay, so is everyone ready? Are you guys in your kitchens? Are you ready to cook? So let's get the olive oil into the pan because we're going to start. Let's just get that warmed up a little. And then we need to make sure those onions are chopped up, which I'm going to do right now. Onions are always... I don't know how true it is. Maybe the ladies can verify this. When you don't want your eyes to water, you chew chappies. Does that work? Chew gum?
No, you're supposed to have peeled your onions and keep them in the fridge because when they're cold, they don't emit so much of the sulfuric acid, I think it is, that comes up into the air, and that's what makes you cry. So that's what it's here. So
has anyone tried the gum? Has anyone tried the gum? Can you verify that actually works?
Oh, but we've tried goggles, Khalid.
Goggles would work, yeah.
Welcome, Idris. Welcome, Idris. Would you like to say something? I know I'm being preferential to the guys right now because they're the minority. They're the roses amongst the thorns here. And Mohammed as well, would you like to unmute? So you've got
Okay,
that the onions in the pan there.
Onions are going in.
Walaikum
Turn
salam.
up the heat.
It's Ruxana here.
Hi, Ruxana. Assalamu alaikum. All the way from Al Ain in the Garden City in the UAE.
Yes, the beautiful, cool city of Al Ain.
MashaAllah.
My
Thank you
husband
for
is
joining.
Salim, Mohammed Salim on the group. He's the main chef in our house. So
Oh,
that's why I
okay.
wanted him to join and have a look at what men can suggest to each other.
That's wonderful. I hope he's joined in.
Yes, he's on the group. He's in the meeting, yeah.
MashaAllah.
Thanks.
Welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
What I'd suggest is you get your ovens on as well. In the meanwhile, just to let it warm up a little. This prep doesn't take too long, and you want the oven to be nice and warm when you get the chicken in there. So, got the onions in there. I'm going to add some salt to it. Let's get some garlic in there as well.
Are you
This
using
can start
fresh?
getting.
Are you using like fridge crushed garlic or fresh garlic?
I had it fresh. I chopped it up just to prep for today. So either you could use either. You know, like I said, convenience works for me. Most times I would have the garlic already done in the fridge, and that's something that's easy to use. But on days when I do have a bit more time, when I want that extra burst of flavor, then I'll use the fresh garlic as well.
Oh, that's
Okay,
the
then we
answer to
go
your
with-
question, Paula, because Paula just asked a question, what's the secret to the flavor? And I think that's one of them.
The secret to flavor is fresh. Everything needs to be fresh. However, fresh takes time. So you need to strike a balance between your time and, you know, whatever you can have prepared. It works. It works. Whatever works for you. There's a nice sizzle going in there.
For those novice cooks, so maybe whoever's novice, and today I can't say any male or female is novice with such hectic work schedules. A lot of people are dependent on takeout or, you know, fast food, and many people are not so often in the kitchen. But if you notice, Khalid is using a wooden spoon in that Teflon pan. And is there a reason why you're not using this as a metal spoon, Khalid? You want to just give them a tip there?
Well, if you've got a metal spoon and you're using non-stick items, it's like, you know, when you scrape your fingernails against the board back in the day when you were at school, it just doesn't work. So metal stuff against a non-stick surface is just not going to work. Wooden spoon safer. And apparently there's something to do with retaining flavor as well. So listen, guys, if you're cooking and if you're using your wife's stuff in the kitchen and she's got nice utensils, you don't want to mess those up, right? So you want to stay in her good books, and that's why you make sure you use a wooden spoon. Give it a good shake. I'm going to add some chili in there. Chili is optional if you like a bit of heat in the food. I've got a teaspoon of green chili. Get that in there. Let's give that a stir as well. Let it start cooking out. So we've got our salt in the onion. We've got the garlic. And we've got the chili. Now, while that's sizzling, you've got your chicken fillets. Let me just get my thin knife. Now, what we want to do here is surgical precision. Okay, so you take your chicken fillet and you can see that. Okay, I'm going to go slow here. And you want to kind of slit it on the side. Nice and slow, not all the way through. You just want to open it up like a pocket on the inside. And that's where your filling is going to go. So
You want to bring it
It's a
close
little-
to the camera for us to see?
I will, as soon as I've done the slit, I will bring that a bit closer. So that's along the lines of what you want to do. You want to have it slit open. I'm going to do that to all three of them because I'm preparing for myself and the kids. Well, actually, confession to make, Saturday morning is my gym time. So, Joshna, I've skipped gym to be able to be with all these amazing people today.
MashaAllah, thank you.
I've got a workout to
you.
catch up on. So I'm going to eat when I get back from the gym after the session, yeah.
Cool.
So that's one, that's two. You can hear that sizzle. Keep an eye on that. What I'm going to do while we're there is I'm going to add in the mushrooms, which I've sliced already. You don't want to have your mushrooms too thick. You want to have them sliced medium-ish. Thick is okay for other dishes, but when you want to get them into your chicken here, you want to keep them nice and thin. Give it a bit more of a swig of olive oil. And this is where I'm going to add in some black pepper. Gives it nice flavor with my pepper mold there. The kitchen has to get messed, guys. When you're cooking, there has to be a bit of mess around it. Just make sure you clean up afterwards so your wife doesn't get upset with you. Right, so let's let that cook a little. Let me get the others out here. Let's get the third fillet slit.
Khalid, I like how you mentioned in the beginning, you know, what an experimental cook is. And as you were talking, I was just thinking, reflecting on my own childhood, because I was one of those teenage girls who burnt everything. In fact, my dad used to say, the only thing I don't burn is water. So I had that stage where I burnt everything. And I remember having to get creative. At one stage when I burnt the onions, I just decided, well, I'm not going to say I burnt stuff anymore. I'm going to say I created stuff. So I said, well, this is sugarless caramelized onions. This recipe is sugarless caramelized onions. But meantime, I just burnt the onions. So you got to get creative, guys. And you can call yourself an experimental cook.
It's the only way you're going to learn. The only way you're going to learn. What I'm doing, I'm adding to this is we've got some fantastic garlic and herb spice from Gorimas. So I'm going to add some of that to the mix here.
So that's our Gorimas garlic and herb spice.
And it's got a lovely aroma, beautiful aroma. I like adding things in layers for the spices, so the flavor starts coming out separately between all the different elements that you've got in it. So that's looking really good there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a second plate going, get some olive oil in there, and we want to get the spinach cooking. That needs to wilt. You know, the amazing thing is when I was a kid, I absolutely detested spinach. The only idea I had about spinach was Popeye eating spinach and getting those big muscles. And I was like, if I can do that, it's going to work. And I ate spinach once and it didn't happen and I gave up on spinach. Until obviously now. And I've realized that spinach is quite good for you. Mind you, my kids don't like spinach too much. Well, the one doesn't, but the others are. Okay, we're getting around.
So Paul is asking, would you kindly give us top 5 spices that you recommend to add flavor? I think we're going to do a rundown of the recipe at the end. So all the spices will be in there, but definitely Gorimas garlic and herb. We've seen green chili, we've seen garlic and fresh black ground pepper.
Yeah, garlic is essential for most Mediterranean dishes. In fact, I use garlic in almost everything. Apart from the flavor, which is fantastic, it gives you, there's tons of health benefits. I'm sure you might know of a few of them. So garlic I use in most dishes. It's an essential.
Well, the garlic, the first one that comes to mind is that it keeps Dracula away, apparently. But the rest of them is that it's really good for your immune system. Very, very good to boost the immune system in fighting colds and flu. Rihanna says can never have too much garlic. She's so right. I have my garlic frozen and ready. Oh, here's a tip for you. If you like fresh garlic and you're a really, really busy parent like I am, and you don't have the time to crush up the garlic when you're rushing in the kitchen, you can grind the garlic in advance. But how do you get it ground and still keep it moist? So you can put in a little bit of white vinegar into your liquidizer, put in those garlic cloves, and then grind it up. And when you're freezing it, you throw in rough salt, because what it does is that when you need the garlic to cook, you don't have a whole big slab of garlic now in your container. It easily breaks off, and then you reduce the salt in your dish. So that really, really works. Keeps it white, keeps it fresh. It's as if you just made the garlic.
Guys, as you can see now, I'm getting the spinach into the pan that needs to cook for a short while. Obviously, you're adding depending on how many people you're cooking for. Slight bit of salt on there, just a pinch. And just a slight bit of pepper on there. Remember your flavor, because these are your flavor elements that are going to go into your pocket of your chicken. You've got a bulk of it on your onions and your mushrooms already, which I've turned on to low heat now just so it can keep warm. And I'm going to focus on these guys here on the spinach.
What's the heat setting you're using for wilting the spinach, Charlotte?
I would turn my setting goes up to 6. I normally keep it halfway, 3 to 4, and then I keep a close eye on the spinach. You don't want to turn it on too high, and that's one of the mistakes you'd make. Obviously, I would make when I learned how to cook, was everything just goes on high, and then you wonder why everything's burnt and nothing's cooked on the inside. But this was the school fees when I lived in England, because there's only so much you can have of takeouts. And then eventually you've got to start learning how to cook. So that was a fantastic experience for me in discovering different flavors. And you try and touch on, so my mom was, well, she's turning 87 on Monday. She's been cooking almost all her life. And she catered for a long while for people. So I suppose some of it was what I saw and observed and probably internalized on a subconscious level. But here, as you know from coaching, on a cognitive level. When we were in London, actually, for Eid, as a lot of South Africans living abroad would know, you miss the food. Obviously, around Eid, you miss the people. You can't bring the people, but you can bring the food over. So what I'd done was I asked my mom to give me the recipe for biryani. So this was pre-internet. I'm not giving my full age away. This was pre-internet. And what they did was she and my dad wrote down the entire recipe, and they had it posted to us. And our first Eid in London was, gosh, we made biryani for about 20 people, and it worked. It worked. So we had to send pictures back. It wasn't instant, no WhatsApp, but we did record all of those and send them back, and it was, gosh, she was quite chuffed, and we were quite chuffed because we had nice food to eat. But we kind of subdivided everything. So in the building that I lived in, we had people on different levels, and each floor had a specific role. So the one floor dealt with the rice, the other one dealt with the chicken, the other one dealt with frying the potatoes and the onions. It was a complete factory situation going on there. It worked out quite well. Okay, so these
you
guys
could call that collaborative cooking.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, onions are cooked nicely. The spinach.
How I love the samosa. I try and basically smuggle in some samosas at anyone coming through.
Right, so those guys are ready. Now we begin with filling our chicken into the pockets. So I'm not sure what the view is like. I'm just going to adjust my camera slightly. Okay, I'll try and bring that a bit closer because I do need the flat space. So this is now part of the experiment is willing to try different things. So what I'm going to do is the pesto that we have, which I haven't made, I source good pesto. What I'm going to do there is I'm going to apply some of the pesto on the inside of the chicken, and we're going to put some on the outside. Right, so we're going to coat it in there. So let's get doing on that.
Which brand of pesto do you recommend that you find works well with this recipe?
You know, in South Africa, Woolies works very well. Ina Parmans works very well. Of the two, if I had to choose, I'd definitely go with the Woolies because the flavor in there is just, it's really, really good. If you can make pesto and if you've got the time to make pesto, this is basil pesto we use. It's fantastic. I mean, pesto is something you can use with on bread. You can make little toasties, you know, with cheese, mozzarella and pesto. These are little bite treats we make normally during Ramadan. You know, when we want to break away from all the fried stuff, we try and go Mediterranean. The kids actually love that. The kids enjoy that, and they had really, you know, they rave about this to their friends, and we can talk about this to family as well when we have something different to offer at the table. So there we go. That's the pesto on the inside. Now we're going to fill up those pockets a little with Here
Thanks
we go.
for sharing that recipe for fresh pesto. Waiko's just shared us how to make fresh pesto onto the chat. So those of you are interested in
awesome.
making fresh, you can get it from there, right?
All right, there we go. So that's one of them. Now let's get our feta in. So the feta comes in blocks, but I want to crumble them up. So, you know, you get a nice round of feta in there.
And are you using an unflavored feta or a specific type of feta here?
Yeah, unflavored feta. Unflavored. That works. There's a lot of flavor in the chicken already, with all of the filling that we're putting in there. So with the feta, you know, adding feta of another flavor doesn't really work too well. It could, I suppose, if you want. It's just entirely up to you. But I prefer using the feta that's non-flavored.
So if I can understand.
Was the chicken marinated in advance or not?
Sorry?
Was the chicken marinated in advance?
No, we're doing that now. We're doing that now. I've done a bit of prep beforehand, but I'm doing most of it now just so we can work through it for those of you who are cooking. We can work through that together. Let's get some feta into the other two.
So the first step, you put in the pesto in the raw filleted chicken, and then you put in the cooked spinach that you had put in a little bit of pepper, very little salt, and that you had wilted in the olive oil. You didn't put garlic into the spinach, did you?
No, because the garlic flavors in the onion already.
Right.
Garlic can be tricky because if you put too much garlic in, it ends up making your dish bitter, and that obviously I've learned through the experimental side of things. So yeah, garlic, you need just the right amount, and then you've got the right flavor. If it's too much, it's obviously going to make your dish taste very bitter, and if it's too little, you're not going to get the flavor in.
Yeah, and then you put after the spinach, you lay it in the. Come closer to the camera with that.
There you go. There you go. You guys see that? So that's 3 of them in there.
Right.
Now, what we're going to do is get some toothpicks because you want to hold them close on the end.
All right. So after pesto, it was the spinach, then it was the feta, then it was the caramel, well, the onion and mushroom that was prepared and sautéed. And then he's closing it up with a toothpick now. Yeah.
So surgical precision again. It's good fun. If you can get the kids involved in this as well. You know, they like doing these types of things, and it's unfortunately my bunch is studying. My eldest is busy with matric exams at the moment, so normally they would have helped. They generally do. They generally do. I've got girls only, so I don't know what's it like to have boys. I don't know. You guys can share some thoughts on boys. Do they get involved in the kitchen?
You've got the 3 girls. If you've got 3 girls, I've got 3 boys.
Okay, so we can compare notes yet, yeah.
But mind you, my boys love being in the kitchen. My oldest is 20 and he makes the most awesome pancakes. And the 15-year-old has come up with a few of his own fusion recipes, which I've been encouraging him to make a little recipe book for youngsters out of. Oh, lovely, lovely. So they do get involved. Not all. I've heard some other stories about boys who don't even know where the kitchen is in the house. But I'm glad to hear that yours are quite involved and experimenting themselves as well. Yusuf says his 10-year-old wants to be a chef, mashallah. Fantastic. I think, you know, with the advent of like the guys that you have on TV, Jamie Oliver, Gordon Ramsay, all these other guys, it has inspired guys, and it has shown that, you know, guys can do this with all the cooking shows that we have as well on TV, the bake-offs and master chefs and all these types of things. I think it's given people a lot of encouragement, a lot of kids, a lot of males, you know, in what is seen as traditionally a female-only domain. If I had to just survive on that option, the kids and I would have starved. So
You know, you've got to work it out. You've got to work it out. Okay, so these are ready. I've got the toothpicks on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to coat them with some very basic spices. I'm going to add a bit of salt on the outside. Sprinkle a bit of salt. There we go. And I'm going to add some more of this herb from Gorimas.
So that's your garlic and herb spice from Gorimas coming on there.
Correct, correct, correct. And a little bit of black pepper over it. Remember, the chili, if you want to add, is on the inside already, and that's added. You need to add that to taste, depending on how much you like, and how strong you like your food to be. So you should have had your oven on by now, and they're nice and warm. We're getting ready for these.
What temperature did you have your oven on?
So I preheated at about 180, and we're going to cook at about 200 on here for about 15 to 20 minutes, just depending on the heat of your oven. What I normally do in the oven dish is just add in a swig of olive oil in there, give it a bit of a rub down. People do spray and cook as well, which I feel is more for baking. Wherever I can, I try and use virgin olive oil. I love the flavor. And if you ever have a chance, I think, guys, in the Middle East, you would find, if you can get a hold of olive oil that comes out of Palestine, specifically Jerusalem, the flavor on that is something you will not find anywhere else. If you can get a hold of that, just get some of that, try it out, taste it and see, compared to, the Italian stuff is good, the Spanish stuff is also decent, but once you try olive oil from Palestine, you'll be in another place. We were importing them a while ago in South Africa. And gosh, although they were quite pricey because of the import charges, the flavor on that olive oil, for somebody like me who didn't know olive oil, it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. All right, so I've got these three guys in here. As you can see, they're going to go into the oven, so we don't want it to dry up too much. You can either put small blobs of butter on top of them. I prefer going with olive oil, again, very measured. So I'm just going to take a teaspoon, drizzle it over them.
Khalid, can you take a picture of that and post it for us?
Unfortunately not, because my camera is my phone, which we're using for this. And I can bring it closer if you want to take a picture. Would that work?
Let's try.
Yeah, let's try.
Okay, there we go.
1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, got it.
Got it? Good. All right, excellent. So let's get that into the oven for now. Watch your clocks as this goes in. Set that at about just over 200. That's going to stay in there while we get busy with a bit of a Mediterranean salad, North African fusion salad. You guys would have probably tried out tabbouleh where you are. It should be available quite often. And
yeah, it's very readily available.
I had friends from Morocco. I had a colleague from Syria whose wife was Moroccan at the charity that I worked at. And gosh, the food. If I travel to Morocco and just eat food, I think I'll be happy. It's amazing flavors in Morocco. So
one of my dreams is to just travel the world just on a fusion food escapade. Like you just go from country to country just for trying out these amazing dishes. By the way, if you are in Dubai, if anybody comes on tour to Dubai, there is a food tour. You go on the canal, and the canal on a boat. You go on this type of a cruise where the boat stops at different restaurants that's on the side of the marina, and each restaurant is a different country. So you may start off with the Indonesian something for the main, something for the starter from a different country, and then the next course is from another country, and you have maybe 5 to 7 different foods from different countries, but you're just on the boat in Dubai going down the marina. So it's an awesome tour to try if you are in the UAE.
So guys, while the chicken's cooking inside, let's get to the salad. Let me just get my ingredients. And because it's nice and warm here, we obviously entering summer in South Africa. We want to get something that's nice and fresh, something that's not too heavy. So that's why I've gone for this particular recipe on the salad. So parsley, bunch of parsley, mint, which is a plenty in the Middle East. And you can either use a big tomato or you can use some rosa tomatoes or cocktail tomatoes, entirely up to you, whichever works for you. Right, so let's chop all of these up. What types of salads do you guys enjoy?
Well, there's so many here. We spoiled for choice. I was just telling my sister, I had an amazing salad last week at Sultan Saray, which is a Lebanese restaurant, and it was very simple but very delicious. Basically, it was lettuce, different types of lettuce. I think there were 2 types of lettuce together, not the iceberg lettuce, neither the one that's very popular, which they call jarjir here. I'm not sure what is the English word for it, but anyway, you could use any lettuce except iceberg lettuce. Chop in your cucumbers, chop in a lot of pecans or walnuts, throw in a lot of pomegranate seeds, and a little bit of salted and washed onion to take out the very oniony flavor, but to keep part of it. And then the rest of it was just black pepper, a little olive oil, and then drizzled with pomegranate syrup. It was absolutely amazing.
That sounds delicious. That sounds delicious. In fact, you can add pomegranates to this particular recipe if you like as well, just for a bit of a different tang to it and a different flavor, to give you that finishing touch. If you've got pomegranates in season and they're nice and juicy and tasty and sweet, feel free to add them into this. So as you can see, I'm chopping these up, not too fine, but you don't want them in big bunches either. Here we go. The stem out there, right? And that's the parsley going in. I'm going to chop in some more. Salads, salads can be, I've seen art. I've seen people who practically, the salad is the salad bowl is the canvas and they bring out salad art, and I've seen some amazing stuff. I love the fact that you mentioned nuts, and nuts give you a beautiful flavor. It adds a nice flavor to your salads and in fact to your food. So again, staying in the Mediterranean and North Africa, I was invited to a friend's place in London once. They are of Algerian origin. I forget the name of the dish, but there was this rice dish that they had, which was it was plated so beautifully. It was a round kind of a donut shape of rice on this big platter. There was chicken on top of it, and there were glazed almonds all over it. It was absolutely delicious. I have no idea what it's called. And it's something, if I find again, I definitely would want to.
It may have been kibsa.
Say that again?
Kibsa. It may have been kibsa.
It's not that, actually, that rings a bell.
Yes, it sounds like kibsa.
That rings a bell. One of the things I enjoy about the food from, especially in the Mediterranean, is it's not too heavy. When after you've had a meal and you feel absolutely where you can't move. For those of us who've grown up in Indian households, you would all understand what I'm talking about. Where you need to detox for 2 or 3 days after when you've had festivity. I find that foods in Mediterranean foods especially are not that heavy, and it's easy on your gut. We went out, myself and some of my friends, we hadn't seen each other for a while. We went out the other day to a Turkish restaurant here in Joburg, and the platter was absolutely huge. It was, the guys like to eat. It was a family platter for like 7, all girls. Everybody ate to their fill. The guys cleaned it out completely, but nobody had any issues with feeling bloated or feeling overweight or any of those types of things. So I suppose it depends on what you like and your preference and the balancing act that you have.
Yusuf,
are you willing to go?
Yusuf says he's rolling on the floor laughing right now because he so resonates.
It's absolutely, you know the feeling, guys. You know the feeling after Eid, because especially if you go visiting, which you have to do on Eid, you need to visit the elders, you need to visit siblings, you need to visit relatives, and everywhere you go, you've got to have something. You've got to eat something, and everybody's taken a week to prepare their food, so you can't refuse anybody wherever you go, because then you'll have family politics to deal with for another 2 weeks after. So
You might as well eat the food.
you just got to eat the food. It's. But the one thing I cannot do, and I've stopped doing a while ago, is I just can't do savories in the morning. When you go for breakfast and then you find savories at the table there, I just kind of avoid them. I do like savories, but being more conscious in terms of healthy eating, without compromising on flavor, as of late, the last few years, it's something I'm more mindful of. I'd rather enjoy something where I don't have to spend lots of time recovering, and where, my system's got to reset itself. Then, just enjoy that. But so as you can see, I've got some mint here. That's all been washed. I'm going to chop them up. Or alternatively, you can just tear them, pull them up, pull them apart, split them with your fingers.
I love having a pot of mint growing in the kitchen. It's really pretty, especially if you're living in city areas where you don't have a garden. Just having a little bit of a thyme plant or a mint plant around gives that positive energy into the room. And it's a lovely thing for your eyes to see. It keeps you grounded. And as well, you have fresh herbs right there, or herbs as the British call it. We'll have the fresh herbs. Khalid's been in the UK, so he must have heard the herbs a lot. Yeah, and Bibi Aisha, I was thinking about the very same thing. The air fryer is amazing for the savories. Not too much of a fan of samosas in the air fryer. By the way, they call it sambusas here in the Middle East. I'm not sure where the D comes in from. So not so much of a fan with the sambusas in the air fryer, but the pies come out really, really nice. And you can have, as she says, guilt-free savories then.
So in the Middle East, obviously, you'd find that mint is very, very common. They use mint, and you probably had mint tea, which I find actually after a good meal, mint tea is actually quite good for you. Mint on the whole is generally good for your tummy.
I've just come up with my own tea this week, and it's so refreshing and delicious. I'm using the vanilla tea bag. So I'm sure you get it in South Africa and across the world as well, vanilla tea. So I use the Lipton vanilla tea or the Alukaze vanilla tea bag. You just boil your water, put in the vanilla tea bag, and put in fresh mint. It is so beautifully relaxing and just divine. Vanilla tea with mint, just too beautiful.
Awesome. So you can see that looks nice and green. That's the mint and that's the parsley. I'm just going to chop up some cucumbers in. That's going to go in there. Get them nice and small, tiny blocks, so that it's not, when you dish out, it's not too much. I suppose cucumber, that's where a lot of people's artistic side comes out. When you see the different ways in which cucumber is laid out on salads, from curly cucumber to whole pieces of cucumber to different shapes. It's quite interesting to see what you can do with cucumber. And again, it's something that's cooling. It's cooling for your system. So a combination of cucumber and mint obviously is fantastic for your tummy. And for breakfast, if you've got any of this left over, if you've got any of the salad left over for breakfast, a bit of yogurt, the salad, and some nice fresh bread. And you would have such a good breakfast, and it won't be heavy on your system either. It really, really goes down nice. It's one of the things I love about traveling through when I was in Turkey and when I was actually in Dubai on a travel tourism summit a few years ago. The assortment of breakfasts you have available at the different hotels, oh my goodness, it's something that's amazing, absolutely amazing. So there we're looking nice and green with our cucumber, with our mint, and with our parsley. And now we're going to get some tomatoes. I'm just keeping a check on the time. We're 10 minutes into our chicken that's in the oven. So that's going well.
So Yusuf's
Let's
asking a question, very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you find cooking therapeutic?
I do. So my therapy time is cooking, and my therapy time is at the gym. I need that with all the stuff that I've got to deal with every day. It does. Sometimes I've got to be honest, and I'm sure many will agree with me, and this can resonate with quite a few people. Sometimes you cook because you have to, not because you want to. What I do find is I'll start off with an idea when I'm cooking, and the flavor kind of morphs its way through as I'm cooking. So I'll start off with one idea, and the experiment will just happen while I'm cooking, and the end result would be something I hadn't planned for in terms of flavor and in terms of the look. And the kids would come and say, "Well, what's this? We haven't tried this before." I'm saying, "Well, you're going to try it now. It's something new." So yeah, sometimes it's just, you work through your thoughts when you're cooking. Definitely, it does definitely give me a bit of breathing space mentally.
I think it's a lovely informal way of occupational therapy. And a lot of us sometimes, especially the moms who've been, I would say incarcerated with the chore of cooking from a very early age, we sometimes see cooking as really a big bane in your life and a big pain. But if we change the intention that that's the time to relax, to connect with the giving and the serving and the loving side of you, and you realize that you're actually putting love and kindness into the pot that's going energetically into your family's bodies, it doesn't become a chore anymore. It becomes a service of love, and you start to enjoy it actually.
I won't lie to you. I mean, obviously, being a single dad, it's every day. I can't cook every day. It's virtually impossible. I do need some time out. So we do 1 or 2 days where we do takeouts, and then we do junk meals at home as well. So it just depends. It depends. But to cook every single day does tend to take a lot of time, and I'm very, very blessed. My kids are both studying, but I'm blessed in the fact that I don't have kids who are demanding. Whatever comes out, whatever's on the table, these kids will, take the name of Allah and they will eat that. So I'm blessed in that regard. I don't have fussy kids. Veggies are an issue for 1 or 2 of them, but we're working on that. So there's my tomatoes all chopped up. I'm going to add them into the salad. I think I'm going to get a few more here because the color's looking good. It's amazing how color affects your thinking in either a positive or negative way. Atia, you would know this from coaching as well, in terms of your cognitive perception of what colors do to you and your brainwaves.
Yes, for sure. And even if one isn't even in coaching, just the idea, I mean, think about it. When you see a colorful array of even sweets or desserts, your mouth waters. It just looks so beautiful when there's so much color available to you. Think about putting a plate of veggies in front of a kid that's washed out, boiled, miserable, dead-looking cabbage, versus having some fresh broccoli, some unusual carrots, some pretty sweet potatoes. You're having pink, orange, green on a plate versus a light brown colored vegetable. You have to invoke the senses in everything. Every part of life is so sensual. I think especially, and I had 2 clients this week that I gave some very good advice that lent to.
While you're talking, I'm just tossing here while you're talking.
That
so
lent
tomatoes are
into
in, I'm just tossing.
I love how you're tossing there, right? So that lent into the kitchen domain. So I just want to quickly share. The one was a teacher, very, very stressed out teacher in Pietermaritzburg, and talking about how overwhelmed she was feeling. And I said, you have to learn to live the moment through your senses. Instead of rushing to, and I know we all have the same amount of time and we're all limited with our minutes and the amount of things we've got to get into a day. She's got 3 little kids as well. I said, take the time to sensually chew your food. Take the time to sit, even if it's just a school sandwich, but enjoy the flavor and appreciate the fact that you got that flavor, that your taste buds are working. It starts to ground you into that moment, and you feel less overwhelmed and less stressed, because remember, eating is a very, very very essential part of being able to do everything that you need to do. If you're eating while you're not even understanding what you're eating, you're not even tasting what you're eating, you're robbing yourself of a very important sensual aspect of life.
Absolutely, totally agree. And then thank you for that insight here. I'm going to add some, so you can see the colors in there. I'm going to add some sunflower seeds. Korimas have a good selection of sunflower seeds. Again, just see how much you want in there. It gives you that nice nutty flavor to your salad. In terms of spicing, well, in terms of adding flavor, that's entirely up to you. I wouldn't suggest adding too much because that takes away from the actual flavor of the veggies in your salad. So a bit of black pepper, I'm just going to crush a bit of black pepper, teeny bit on there. What I am going to do, if you guys have za'atar should be available widely in the Middle East. I make sure I keep some
South Africa. Do you get it at South Africa?
Yes, you do. You do. So just on point there. So I've worked with Palestinians for, 12, 14 years. And I've learned the difference about a few things, which is why, number one, I mentioned the olive oil from Palestine. Secondly, so when you buy za'atar, you get brown za'atar and you get green za'atar. Okay? The green za'atar comes from Jordan, Palestine. The brown za'atar comes from Syria, Egypt, and all these places. If you can, get the green za'atar, because that's the one that has, the flavor is just much better in there. It's just rich in flavor. Although the brown one's decent, if you can't get any of the others, the brown one's decent, but ideally go for the green za'atar because that's the real McCoy. I don't have the real McCoy because that's all finished. So I'm going with a bit of the brown za'atar just for a bit of flavor on there.
The green one looks prettier on your manakish or pizza bread and stuff like that as well because it looks nice against the dough if you're using it on doughy stuff.
All right, and then I'm gonna add some lemon juice on there. I ran out of lemons actually, so I'm using lemon juice. Either can work for you. And again, a good swig of olive oil just on the top there. And we want to give that a good mix.
I love the Ina Parman's lemon pepper. I would have added the lemon pepper, not the plain pepper, yeah.
It's a nice flavor, absolutely. Some people like adding salt to their salad. Again, it's entirely your preference. It's entirely up to you what you like to add on there. So there we go. That's our salad already. If you can have a look there. Yeah, there we go.
Just hold it. Khalid, just bring it back. Just bring it back 2 minutes.
Bring the salad back, Khalid.
Bring the salad back.
Awesome.
So now if we had the SABC camera crew here, they could do all the zooming in and out, Joshna.
Yeah. Next time we arrange the camera crew, and next time I think one of the other guys will throw them into the super dad pool. Maybe Yusuf or Mohammed Salim, or maybe Zaida's husband. Zaida just admitted she doesn't know when last she cooked. Husband does everything, mashallah, Zaida. We're lucky women.
Amazing thing is you don't know your potential until you are in the deep end. That's something I've learned. You don't know what you're capable of until you're in a situation. Yeah. I didn't have a clue how to cook until I went to England, and I was forced to cook because there was only so much McDonald's fish burgers I could have. So I had to learn how to cook. I didn't have a choice. When I had kids afterwards, it was just something that I would do once a week, once every, twice a week or something. And then after the divorce, obviously the kids were with me and we needed to eat. I couldn't travel to the other end of town to see my mom every day to go and eat. So it's just something you learn and you keep on experimenting. That chicken's almost ready. What I'm going to do now is I've got some nice bread. Like I mentioned on the ingredients, you can choose which of the breads you want. Anything Mediterranean. You can do pitas, you can do rusticata, you can do olive loaves, whatever works for you. So I'm just going to slice up a bit of this.
What is the cheats way of doing this bread if you don't have Mediterranean bread? Is there a cheats way of having this meal without the fancy bread?
It's just a side. It's a side. It's entirely up to you. It's entirely up to you. You could even do a roti, I'm thinking, if you wanted to. But the Mediterranean bread, for a reason, in that just the way it's structured, some of the flavor, the olive loaves are quite nice that are made. And you're going to see it because we're going to keep some pesto on the side and we're going to keep some olive oil on the side. So if you want to dip your bread into that with your chicken, you can do that as well. So it's just to add a nice side to your dish. I'm just going to slice up a few here from the loaf that we have here. And it could be soft. You could even do French baguettes. Those would work as well. It's entirely up to you. But you've got all of those options to choose from. So let's do this because we are almost ready. I'm just going to check on how things are going here. Oh yeah. You can get that aroma. I'm going to leave it in for another few minutes. You can get the aroma when you open the oven. It's almost ready. It's waiting to come out. Just going to get my plate ready. Who is cooking with us? Just so I know. Is everyone just watching, or do we have some people cooking with us? Just out of curiosity.
I was tempted to cook, Khalid, but then I'm so interested in watching. I've got all my stuff ready. I'm actually going to do it after.
Okay, cool. All right, so I think we're about ready. Let me get these guys out of here. The advantage of chicken fillets, obviously, is that they cook fairly quickly. Chicken doesn't take as long to cook as other meats. Oh yeah, lovely. And it's still sizzling as well, which is lovely. So I'm going to get it off onto the plate and show you what we've got for you from there. There we go. Who's hungry?
You've made us hungry now. Speaking about your breads, I've just popped in a whole lot of links on the chat for different homemade breads, and the garlic naan is there. That will go really well with this meal.
Garlic naan would work fantastically.
Yeah, as well as your
Brilliant
pita
idea.
pockets or homemade pita rugni naan. So you got some quick links there. You can just save it and put it onto your phone or onto your laptop. So now, Khalid, how would you know the chicken is cooked right through?
Your timing. But if you're not sure, you can obviously just do a slight cut through your chicken to check if it's cooked. I'm very confident on the timing, so I know that always works.
So how many minutes do you keep it in the oven at 200?
20 minutes. 20 minutes at about 200, 210 degrees, just depending on your oven. But around 20 minutes should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to show you. As you can see, it's nice and white. You don't want it burnt.
You don't want
You
the
still
pink
want it to
inside,
retain.
so.
Yeah, you don't want it pink, but you don't want it burnt as well, and you want it to retain the moisture as well. So it kind of works all nicely together. And let's add some bread here. I'm going to add some pesto there as well, if you like to add some further pesto.
Looks amazing.
Okay, and here we go. So
Okay, just hold it.
that's where we go. Your chicken's there, your salad's here. Put a bit of pesto on the side here for your bread.
Got it, thank you.
That looks so mouth-wateringly delicious. I'm really hungry now. It's like 1:46. Yeah, past my lunchtime. I wish I was there to eat it.
Well, I'm going to take a bite and let you know how it goes. Yeah, that looks good. Let's dash a bit of pesto on there. That works well. Excuse me, that works very nicely.
MashaAllah.
And it's cooked just right. It's not It's not overcooked. There's still a lot of moisture in there. With chicken, if you're going to overcook it, it's going to get very dry and it's going to become too hard. So you want to make sure it's just in time for serving. As soon as it comes out, have everything ready, plated, ready to go, and enjoy Mediterranean. Now I'm stuck in two minds, Josh, and this is all your fault. I'm not sure whether I'm going to eat or whether I'm going to go to the gym.
No, eat and then go to the gym. You can't let
I think you should eat.
Yeah, eat.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
That's yeah. So that's it, guys. And questions, comments, please. We we have. In fact, I'm having a look here. Sorry, I've got you guys up on.
So Rehana says she has to get her husband to watch this recording so he can make this dish.
By all means, and please, your feedback would be fantastic.
What would you like to share, Norman? I see there was another guy who joined us, Norman. Would you like to say something? He's waving. You can unmute.
Norman, hi, Norman.
I'm not sure if he's getting us. I think his connectivity is an issue. Wow. So ladies, what do you think about Super Dad's cooking skills?
Sorry, I recognize one of the names here. And if it is the same person, I just want to give a shout out to Zakia. Zakia, we've met through tourism, if I'm not mistaken. And if it is the same Zakia.
Yes, Habib Travels. Yes, I believe so. Zakia Habib is in the tourism industry.
Okay, so we have met. Yeah. Welcome, Zakia. I hope it's a bit of a change from tourism, but hopefully something to fill your day with.
Wonderful. Khalid, this was super amazing. I take my hat off to you because getting in front of the camera in a room with a whole lot of people you might not have met before, it can be quite daunting. And I really salute you for the bravery, for the courage to put it out there. And you're basically living what you say is being that awesome parent and being courageous enough to do things that's out of your comfort zone so you can reach that potential. And I'm sure your kids are going to be super proud of you and possibly share the YouTube link with all their friends.
Hopefully they're friends. Yeah, we get along fantastically. The girls have awesome friends, and then we get along so well. Lots of comedy shared between all of us. So, it's, in fact, they were just joking the other day because I've only got girls, and they said we were talking about the possibility of a son, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have minded a son. Obviously, not at the expense of any one of you, because I love you guys. But I wouldn't have minded a son. And they said, nah, Dad, you're a girl, Dad. And I'm like,
what's a girl dad?
What's a girl dad? And what's a son dad? So I'm still grappling with that. But if you've got boys or girls, maybe you can share that with me.
That's amazing to hear. That's the first time I've heard that you're a girl dad. I think that's their way of saying that you're the best dad to them. How is how is the Super Dad network or this initiative taken off with men around you? Do they have like I don't know, wishy-washy feelings about it, or are they grabbing onto the idea? Are they feeling liberated by having this voice that you're creating the awareness to have?
So it takes a while for guys to come out of their shells, and there's a lot of work we need to do as men to unpack things within ourselves. Some of which is probably due to the way we were brought up in certain expectations. You're supposed to behave in a certain way. You're supposed to be dealing with things, and you're not supposed to be showing, that you feel vulnerable at times or you're feeling down. You always need to man up and be strong, which you do need to do. As guys, we do need to do that. However, talking about the situations we've been through, many dads are fighting battles alone. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I like to keep insisting on and letting people know that it's okay to speak about things and you're not alone in this. I've got a very close friend whose wife was taken away a few years ago at the age of 39. And he was left with his 3 kids. One's a teenager, the other one's about 11, and the little one was 3 when her mom passed away. And his whole world just, it was difficult to see. We supported him, his family supported him, and he's back on his feet to the best of his ability. there's guys fighting battles on so many levels, but they internalize it. I posted a stat on our Instagram page last week. It was actually a stat from 2019, but it shows the highest rate of male suicides in the world. The top two on that list joint neck and neck by 0.1%, Russia first and then South Africa.
Oh my goodness.
38 or 39% out of 100,000 commit suicide. And this is not specific to a racial group or an ethnic group. It's the country as a whole. It's a problem. It's a serious problem. Guys feel under so much pressure. Then you've got to deliver as a father. You've got your work issues. COVID hasn't helped that at all. People losing jobs, income suffering, households taking a strain. In addition to that, we've got old belief structures that we've had growing up as we were kids, which have, forced limitations on us, which we're not even aware of. And that's what I work through in coaching with many clients. Get rid of those limiting beliefs. You're able to think clearer, move clearer, work much better. You'll be able to achieve a lot more. And you feel that as though you're in a good space. The Super Dad Network has been met with a lot of thank yous and a lot of, we appreciate this. Daily pick-me-ups, a little something to pick you up. So people know and they're connected that there's a network of dads who are there to support you. And I want to touch on a point that Joshna made earlier, and I think Atia, you made that point as well. Yes, I'm a single dad. There are dads who are within brilliant marriages, and those need to be continued and those need to be worked on and supported. We are all in this together. In order to raise a family needs both parents. Now, it's out of our hands if a parent passes away. That's where the community comes in as well. But even if parents get divorced and separated, you need both mom and dad to have access to the kids and the kids to have healthy relations with both parents. Even though the parents have not gotten along and for whatever reason the marriage is ended, there needs to be healthy relations, because at the end of the day, if these are not worked on, the kids are going to have negative issues and emotions and beliefs that they're going to grow up with, and they're going to carry with them into their lives and their relationships, because the model they're seeing is not a healthy model. If mom is using dad as a punching bag, or if dad is insulting mom all the time and the marriage is broken up and they're just using the kids, to basically play tennis with each other, this is causing a lot of harm to the kids, and people need to realize this. If your marriage is ended, it's fine, it happens. Relationships don't always work. But be mature enough to make sure that the kids don't get dragged into your issues. You're raising kids, that's a responsibility on its own. Make sure you give them the best shot at life that you possibly can. And we have to work together. I think that's absolutely crucial. We have to work together.
So well said, Khalid. Dad, really, really well said. And I'd like to add to that not only is a Super Dad Network imperative for dads who are single, dads who are in marriages and need to work on their own limiting beliefs and their idea of what a good father is, or the idea of what a father should be, or a husband, for that matter, because I think a single dad has a lot of retrospective hindsight as to what he could have done differently or better. And so maybe even married guys who would benefit from that. But additionally, Khalid, I would say stepdads, because there's a lot of fathers now who are remarrying and entering families, marrying women who have children that are not their biological kids. And then they're fighting a whole lot of other internal demons, from instinctive survival patterns to many. I mean, this show is almost at an end. We've got 4 minutes to the end, so it's too much to delve into. But stepdads as well need a lot of support. So I would recommend that you reach out your Super Dad Network to stepdads too.
Please do. We're available on there's a website. There's regular posts that go out on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and on Instagram as well. It's basically a platform to help dads to become better, because every dad goes through a journey. The minute the kid is born, your journey begins of growth. If we don't internalize and understand that at the beginning, it's not going to happen. So take that journey with your kids, grow with your kids, learn as you go along. We all can learn. We're all in a continuous learning process. We never know enough. We can share experiences with others. We can learn off others. And we discover things about ourselves based on the knowledge that we've gained, which help us to become better at what we do.
I think I love that so much, Khalid, because what you're actually saying is that we need to reach out to our kids we need to start changing the narrative about how you deal with things, how you deal with women, how you include women, how you do all of those things to actually, make the change that we're striving so hard to get to nowadays. I mean, in the last, I think, year or two, women empowerment has sort of exploded into all sectors, all industries. Everyone's, started noticing. And I think it's very important that we also start with our kids, because that's where we're going to start. They are the leaders of tomorrow, and that's going to change our narrative, and that's going to create the ripple effect going forward. And all that you said was on point, and thank you so much for sharing. Sorry, Atya, I just jumped in. I couldn't help myself.
Of course, and I so much applaud that, as well as to add that, a lot of times we talk about our sons having healthy view of women, but I think as well we need to have our daughters have healthy view of men, because a lot of our female hurt, we transfer that to the next generation. We have we have those idioms that all men are dogs and what in all those types of things. And I'll tell you, even a personal friend of mine, she's her ex-husband, he's so against women that he's now completely polluted the mind of her teenage son. So in his mind, he's like, all women are horrible. They live in America, so all women are skanks. They're only after one thing. If she got to the top, she could have only slept her way there. So her son is now polluted. Exactly, her son is polluted mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and socially with the father's poisonous rhetoric. And hating the father or blaming the father is not going to change the negative seeds that's been planted in her young son's heart. He's about ready to go leave Jamaica to go to America, and she's terrified. She's dealing with a child who's got wrong programming, bad virus in his software, in his mental software. And it's coming from a dad who didn't handle his life in his divorce and the broken marriage well. So it's so imperative that it's not just men or boy sons, our sons having better opinions or better outlooks about women. And it's the whole thing. It's the gender violence, it's the gender narrative, and it's both ways. And we do a lot. We need to check our words and things like that. So what an awesome show. We move from something in the mouth, palatable flavors of the mouth, to deep-seated ideologies and concepts and perspectives within our souls. And food really is an amazing, amazing connector to social life, to everything. I invite you all to remember this weekend somebody you love, somebody who's passed away that you may have lost through COVID or through any experience in the past, as one of their favorite dishes that you shared with them. Just reminisce about what it was like to have that dish with them. And if you want to honor them, cook it up this weekend or this week, just to remember that special aunt or dad or mom, that was their favorite dish. We want to end thanking every participant, and also with the poem by Tilly Govender, author of the upcoming book, Soul Nourisher. And her poem goes, no yin, no yang. Over to you, Tilly. And the vote of thanks from Paula. So Paula will come in after Tilly.
Thank you, Atya. Thank you, Joshna. Thank you, Khalid. I think the sentiments that you actually expressed was so valid. It actually speaks to my poem, and I'm so excited to actually read this to you. The theme of the poem is obviously gender respect, how we need to value each other, we need to admire, support, and collaborate. And just to give you some background of the theory of yin and yang, it stems from a Chinese theory. And the concept is basically dualism, where two things that are completely opposites, how they can be totally complementary, how they can be interconnected, dependent on each other, and they need each other. So I want to have the privilege of reading this poem the first time. It hasn't even been published yet. It's in the publishing process. So to all of you, this is dedicated to gender respect and valuing each other. No yin, no yang. God made men and women for a reason, not only for a season. Both are needed to keep balance indeed. Both possess qualities that impress, unique to each gender, to create more splendor. No one gender is superior to the other, because if both are needed to create worldly wonder, magnificent splendor, how can anyone ever be inferior? No woman, no cry. No man, no clan. Let's cast our aspersions aside, exclusions denied, support amplified, collaboration magnified. Celebrate side by side. Splendor of equanimity, respectful dignity. Applaud our achievements. Campaign contentment. No woman, no pride. No man, no clan. No yin, no yang. Let's cast our aspersions aside and celebrate side by side. Love you all.
Thank you so much, Tuli. That was really beautiful, beautiful rendition. We're honored to have the author of the poem read it to us, such a surprise. And I want to give Waiko, Joshna, a special thank you right now, because I wouldn't have met Tuli if she wasn't a member of the Women's Chamber of Entrepreneurs. She wouldn't have met me if I wasn't a member of the Waiko Chamber. Authors Tribe Publishers is a startup company, my own entrepreneurial company, and Tuli is one of my clients. And Waiko, Joshna, just revel in the fact that, you've put Tuli and I together. She's achieving her legacy, her dream as a cancer and remission patient, a survivor. And she's sharing her life lessons as a lawyer, as an educator, and as a Waiko member, and as an entrepreneur. So it's so important to have community organizations that support each other, because you just don't know where the energy meets, wherever you may be. Even though she and I have never met, 7,000 kilometers away, we have become sisters. Thank you so much, Joshna, for Waiko. And Paula, over to you for the official vote of thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity that you have just given me. All of you have made my session to be simple, but let me start here, how I am here. And I'm also representing a lot of ladies that are part of this session today and others that are not here. I was part of the Waiko. It started last year during COVID. I was just a participant of the most powerful coaching session that they had. And it found me as an entrepreneur at the level whereby I had a lot of questions of, who am I? What is my purpose? And the Waiko coaching session last year finally aligned me. Today I'm marveling in the level of who I am, and I am just so fulfilled. That is why I'm part of it. But now, before I can even, I don't want to speak about myself, but I want to appreciate the day and WCOE as an organization. Joshna, for you to be the founder of this powerful, transforming, organization, changing lives for better, you are a gift. We thank you. And I can't thank you more than this. The team, WCOE team, that made this session to be at the level where it is today, we are just so humbled. We thank God for every one of you. Allow me today to thank our super dad, Khalid. It started as like just, the recipe, whatever, but if you were present into this, the end part of it, I see this as a movement, more than bigger enough, more than I can't even say, I don't know what to say, but I felt it transforming to whereby that we need to attend to social ailment that we are experiencing. And I'm saying this as a single parent. I saw my child growing up as a single child, and the absence of the father in my childhood has got a lot of impact, negative impact that we are working on. So our super dad, Khalid, your calling, who you are, the transformation that you are doing in the world with all your your networks and platforms. We thank God for you, and may God keep you. Continue to do that. We are here. We will partner with you. My facilitator, Atia, my word, you are the best. You are just the best. You are the best. Thank you for facilitating this session. It was so great. Let me not forget our sponsors. Wow. The hampers, the subscription, and everything. All our sponsors, I don't want to name you one by one. The sponsors, without you having contributed towards this was not going to be a complete session. We want to thank you, and may God bless you much more abundantly where you have taken. Who else is much more better? Our guest. If you were not part of this, if you didn't sacrifice your time, we know that we're celebrating Heritage Day from yesterday, but it's continuing. But you sacrificed your time. You availed yourself to be part of this. We want to thank you. Thank you, everyone, and God bless you. Over to you, Atia.
Thank you so much, Paula, for those beautiful, beautiful, heartfelt words. And we wish you the best as well for appreciating the day, for putting it all so nicely together. Thank you to everybody who's participated. It's just been an amazing session. Coach Middle East collaborating with WCOE. You can see the recording on the Coach Middle East website. So if you go to www.coachmiddleeast.com, you'll be able to see the recordings of all the Heal Your Inner Hero webinars from last year, as well as the Working on Wellness webinars of this year. And so we're certainly going to be counting this as a Working on Wellness progressive working on wellness through putting love into the tummy, into ourselves and into our families, and just appreciating the great, great blessings that we have, despite whatever our challenges. We're looking for the yusr in the usr, as we say in Arabic in the Quran. We're looking for the ease in the difficulty. And so this has been a beautiful, easy session in which we have so many grateful blessings to take away. Thank you, everybody. Last words to you, Khalid, and we will officially call it a day.
I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My video's gone on the blink for some reason.
Not a problem.
Guys, no, I'm just honored to be a part of this. It's been fantastic. I think now's a good time for confession. This is the first time I've done a live cooking show.
Wow. We would have never told. We could have never guessed.
So yeah, but thank you so much for the opportunity. Amazing people on the other side. Look forward to doing more collabs in the future. Atia, it's fantastic meeting you. Heard a bit about you. Joshna, we've spoken before. Paula, fantastic. I love the words of inspiration, and there's more we can chat on in terms of the impact of fatherless homes. There's quite a bit of information that I've written an article about that on the website, so you can have a look on there.
Please share your email. Please share your email address into the chat. We have a call for that. People want to contact you directly, and also your website. You can just pop that into the chat so people can reach out. And please, guys, share the website to people that you know are struggling and need a little bit of help. We all need a little bit of help from time to time. Some of us need a little, some of us need a lot. And contact the Super Dad Network. It's so easy, info@superdadnetwork.com or www.superdadnetwork.com. I think there'll be a lot of communities who will be very much better off when we start building from the inside and building these foundational walls for our kids for the future, because we want them to have better relationships, better marriages, and better relationships with themselves, right? It starts with us today.
Absolutely.
Facebook and Instagram as
Absolutely. So I'm busy with hopefully be done soon, but there's a specific course I'm putting together for dads. As soon as COVID allows for it, I want to have a live event with dads and moms if they want to join in. But primarily, putting together all of the coaching knowledge that I've got, coupled with the dad knowledge that I've got, and drawing on the experiences of other dads, and kind of bringing that all together in a 2-day event, which is fully immersive and which hopefully would, when people attend and they leave there, they've got a different mindset or better mindset or an improved mindset regarding specifically fathering and in general parenting. So watch out for that. That's going to be coming soon. Something I'm quite excited about, but I want to make sure there's quality that's put out. I don't like doing stuff that's just for the sake of it and just putting out courses for the sake of them. But this is something that's been in the work it's been a work in progress for some time now, and it should be released very soon. I will obviously communicate this to you guys, Joshna, and yeah, we can take it further. Thank you so much. I love the comments. I'm just having a scroll through them. I love the feedback. I really appreciate it. Thanks for making it an easy morning and a fun morning.
Khalid. Thank you, Khalid. Thank you, everybody. And with that, it's an official wrap up. Thank you, everybody. And please, please, please continue to support WCOE, Super Dad Network, the Coaching Middle East, not just for us, but for you as well. We all get better together, stronger every day by improving. The Japanese call it Kaizen, where 3 days, every 3 days, you should be a better version of yourself. That the person you meet should know that you improved in something. So constantly upskill and upgrade. Take care, everybody. Have a beautiful Saturday afternoon in South Africa. Have a beautiful rest of the weekend in the UAE. And all the best to a beautiful week ahead. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thanks. Atya, 1 minute. Any chance of some cameras going on?
Oh, one more picture, everybody. Any chance of a quick picture? Come on, guys.
Everyone's so shy.
Oh, the competition. Who wins the competition? So WCOE will be contacting you via email and they'll put it out. The winner will be officially notified and officially advertised on the Instagram or Facebook and on the WhatsApp chats. Make sure you have a nice picture for that so that we all can see you with your big cheesy smile, whether you've won the recipe book or whether you've won the $500 Netcake annual subscription. And yes, of course, all of you will be getting the 50 dirham Hyperama vouchers. So happy shopping in the UAE.
Fantastic. Let me just take this quickly.
And I believe we'll be getting some Gurima sponsors as well.
Joshna and Atya, how long do we have to post the recipe? The dish?
We'll give you the weekend. We'll give you till Sunday. That will be
till Sunday. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. 1 minute. 1 minute. Don't go. Gone. No stress. We've got enough pictures.
Wonderful. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the meal. Bon appetit, Khalid. Eat for all of us.
Definitely will be doing that. Thank you. Take care, guys.
Let me just stay on a minute, and Paula and Atya, if you don't mind.
Say that again. I missed you.
Hang 2 minutes, Paula.
Joshna, what? I didn't get you.
I said just hold on for 2 minutes. I just want to speak to you, Atya and Khalid. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.